Forget everything you know about lions. This wasn't the king of the jungle. It was the undisputed monster of the Ice Age. Twice the size of today's lions. Faster than any human alive. Strong enough to bite through bone and snap a wolf in half. This was the American lion. How did a predator so dominant, so perfectly built to kill, vanish without a trace? Our story begins in the humid lowlands of Mississippi. In the early 1800s, paleontologists unearthed fragments of a skull. At first, they thought it belonged to a giant domestic cat. As more bones surfaced and the puzzle pieces came together, scientists realized they weren't just looking at a big cat. They were staring into the jaws of the largest feline to ever walk the earth. Dubbed Panthera atrox, Latin for cruel panther, this beast was originally thought to be a subspecies of the modern lion. Its resemblance was uncanny. Genetic analysis revealed a darker story. The American lion didn't descend from African lions. It branched off from a population of cave lions trapped south of North America's glaciers nearly 340,000 years ago. Isolated, evolving, getting bigger, stronger, deadlier. Let's talk size, because this wasn't just a big lion. This was a predator engineered by evolution to be massive, muscular, and terrifying. The average African lion today weighs around 400 pounds. The American lion laughed at those numbers. Most adult males weighed between 774 and 930 pounds, and those were just the averages. Some of the most colossal specimens unearthed in 2012 tipped the scales at a jaw-dropping 1,153 pounds. To put that in perspective, that's heavier than a full-grown polar bear or a grand piano. And it wasn't all fat. This lion was lean muscle, optimized for strength, speed, and survival. Not only was it huge, it could run. Despite weighing over half a ton, the American lion could sprint over 30 miles per hour. That's faster than a charging warthog and quicker than the fastest human sprinter ever recorded. And unlike other Ice Age giants like mammoths or giant sloths, this feline didn't need brute force to win. It needed only seconds. A blur of golden muscle. A whisper in the snow. Its legs were long and powerful. They were proportioned more like a cheetah's than a modern lion's, built for explosive acceleration. A terrifying trait when you realize this predator wasn't chasing down gazelles. It was going after bison, young mammoths, and horse-sized prey. It was fast for its size. It was efficient. It was deadly. And most of all, it was built for dominance. Every part of the American lion's body was a weapon. Its retractable claws were thick, hooked, and razor-sharp, each one longer than a kitchen knife. These claws pierced and ripped, anchoring into muscle and bone with brutal precision. Its canine teeth reached over 4 inches long, longer than a steak knife, and nearly the length of a human hand. Its jaw had a bite force of over 1,800 pounds per square inch. That's 3 times stronger than a modern lion, and 6 times more powerful than a saber-toothed smilodon, whose iconic canines came with a surprisingly weak bite. The American lion's skull was thick, reinforced like a natural battering ram. When it bit down, it didn't just kill, it crushed. Fossils don't lie. One of the most gruesome examples? The shattered femur of a dire wolf found near the La Brea tar pits. The injury wasn't from scavengers, decay, or time. It had been bitten in half. And the shape, spacing, and depth of the bite marks matched only one creature, Panthera atrox. Like its modern cousins, it was an ambush predator. It would stalk from the shadows, using terrain, wind, and cover to its advantage. Its size and strength weren't for chasing. It was built to end things quickly. We know this from the frozen corpse of Blue Babe, a steppe bison preserved in permafrost. Deep claw marks and puncture wounds on its hide tell the story of its final moments. A massive feline erupting from cover, burying claws in its flank and dragging it down with savage precision. One pounce, one bite, one legend added to the snow. You might think a beast that big would be all brawn, but the American lion had brains to match. Its brain case, basically, the skull cavity that houses the brain, was proportionally larger than other big cats of its time. This hints at enhanced cognitive function, and when you combine that with what we know about its modern relatives, like leopards, jaguars, and tigers, one thing becomes clear. It was a killer and a strategist. Take the La Brea tar pits, for example, ancient death traps filled with sticky asphalt that lured in animals like mammoths, bison, and camels. These struggling herbivores would draw predators hoping for an easy meal. Dire wolves, trapped by the thousands. Smilodon, trapped in droves. American lions, rare. Why? Because they were smart enough to stay away. Avoiding these traps shows environmental awareness and problem-solving skills. They evaluated risk, made decisions. Some cave sites in the American West, including the Grand Canyon region, reveal dens used by American lions for thousands of years. Scratches 3 meters high, made while standing upright, cover the walls. What's even more telling are the bones. Many of them belong to cubs, juveniles at various life stages. This suggests something fascinating: parenting, cooperative cub rearing, social learning. In a world ruled by ice, giants, and monsters, Panthera atrox may have been one of the few creatures that understood the power of family. Here's a mystery that still divides scientists. Did the American lion hunt alone? Or did it rule in packs like a war band of furry warlords? On one hand, lions today are the only social big cats. They form complex groups called prides, with females doing most of the hunting while males protect territory. On the other hand, most other big cats are solitary. So where did Panthera atrox fit? Fossil evidence gives us clues. At key sites like the Rancho La Brea tar pits and Florida's Page Ladson site, researchers found groups of American lion bones clustered together. Combined with den sites, multi-generational bones, and the prey size they took down, it suggests something compelling. Small, deadly strategic prides. Not 15-member armies like today's African lions, but smaller coalitions, maybe 4 to 6 adults, working as a unit to bring down prey much larger than themselves. And that makes sense. Their caloric needs were massive. A single adult would need up to 20 pounds of meat per day just to survive. Taking down a 5-ton mammoth calf or a 2,000-pound bison required a coordinated ambush. Their cooperative hunting likely followed similar rules to modern lions: flank, confuse, isolate, and strike. And once the prey went down, the pride feasted together. This theory also explains why they weren't found in dense forests. These lions thrived in open plains and tundras, where visibility and teamwork were everything. Now imagine the Ice Age landscape. A frozen plain stretching for miles, snow drifting across a sky the color of steel. And everywhere, giants. The American lion shared its domain with some of the deadliest and most iconic creatures in history. Saber-toothed cats with daggers for teeth, dire wolves working in lethal packs, short-faced bears twice the size of modern grizzlies, and humans, crafty, organized, and spreading fast. Its primary rivals were saber-toothed cats and the dire wolf. Both were deadly. Both were efficient. The American lion still won in terms of size, range, and adaptability, and could kill what others couldn't. According to some studies, American lions, dire wolves, and saber-tooths may have been responsible for up to 17% of all juvenile megafauna deaths during their era. And their kills were efficient. Juvenile mammoths, for example, wandered from the herd between ages 2 and 9. During that window, they were too slow to escape, but big enough to feed a pride. Lions waited, and when that moment came, they pounced. Their reign was vast. From Alaska's tundra to Mexico's deserts, the American lion carved a path of fear and dominance across a continent. For over 300,000 years, the American lion ruled Ice Age North America. And then, it disappeared. The youngest American lion remains date to about 12,877 years ago, a blink in evolutionary time. After that, nothing. No bones, no tracks, no claw marks in the caves. The cruel panther was gone. So, what happened? Paleontologists call it the Quaternary Extinction Event, a sweeping die-off that claimed 2/3 of North America's megafauna. In just a few thousand years, the continent lost woolly mammoths, giant sloths, mastodons, short-faced bears, saber-toothed cats, and the American lion. These weren't slow extinctions. They were cataclysmic collapses. But why? There are two main suspects. The first theory is one of climate chaos. At the end of the last ice age, global temperatures rose rapidly, glaciers melted, sea levels surged, ecosystems shifted overnight. Vast grasslands turned into forests. Water sources dried up or moved. Prey animals migrated, or vanished altogether. And for predators like Panthera atrox, survival depended on stability. With their massive caloric needs, even a small drop in prey population could spell doom. A warming world may have pulled the rug out from under the lion's empire. The second theory is the rise of humans. Early humans had finally spread across North America. They were organized, strategic, armed with weapons, hunting big predators. Archaeological sites across the continent show clear signs of human interaction with megafauna. And at several locations, including sites in Wyoming and California, piles of American lion bones were discovered beside ancient trash heaps and fire pits. Coincidence? Or a smoking gun? If climate change weakened the Ice Age ecosystem, then humans may have delivered the final blow. The American lion is gone, but its story still echoes across the frozen plains it once ruled. It's in the claw marks etched high on ancient cave walls, in the shattered bones buried beneath tar pits, and in the DNA of today's surviving big cats. And if a predator this large, this intelligent, this unstoppable, could vanish without a trace, what does that say about the world we live in today? It's a sobering reminder. No creature is too mighty to disappear, not even a king. So as we look back in awe at Panthera atrox, this terrifying apex of evolution, we also look forward. Because the Ice Age wasn't ruled by one monster alone. It was a battlefield. And next, we're stepping into the ultimate face-off. Saber-tooth versus dire wolf. A razor-fanged killer versus a relentless pack. Who ruled the frozen world? Who survived? Who didn't?